Okay. Joseph, it's such an honor to be with you again. Okay, so your mother, your parents' name, your father was Simcha and your mother was Shendel.
Yes.
And they came from a town, they both came from...
The same place, Jolowicz.
Jolowicz, and then they lived in Krakow.
We lived in Krakow all the time, yeah.
Okay. So this is the questions that Joe wants me to ask.
Okay.
Okay. So he mentions here that you were the eldest of how many siblings?
We were 4 more.
4 more. Boys or girls?
Boys, all boys.
Oh, no girls.
No.
All boys. What was your life before the war?
What?
What was your life like before the war? Before the Germans?
A little boy playing around with the boys, go to a cheder, go to a school, nothing serious, you know. Naive little boy.
And your memories of Krakow?
Yeah, sure.
Were they good memories?
Yeah.
You used to go to synagogue, to
Yes, across the road. I go to Poland, I show all the youngsters where you lived. We have a street, our name, Levkova.
There's a street named after your family?
Yeah. Yeah. The street is still there, but nobody is there. The family is not there. The street is there.
There's no Jews living there anymore?
No. Well, now after the war, some people came back, but from the Sheresha Plata, some people came back. Let's see if I have the street here. This is all the students that I teach and talk to.
How many trips have you done to Poland?
Oh, a dozen. This is Lublin, the yeshiva in Lublin that it used to be. Were you ever to Poland?
I was in Lublin.
Lublin, yeah. So this is Auschwitz, going with the people, and this is Belzec, where my whole family was gassed.
In Belzec.
This is Belzec, the memorandum. I go there, I speak, I put lights, I say Kaddish. Yeah, I do everything, but this is all Belzec, all Belzec. This is talking to students. Here was far to walk, so they took a wheelchair to help me. Yeah. I just wanted to show you the streets.
In Krakow?
Yeah, in Krakow. This is also Krakow. This is the Ramushel.
Yeah, the Ramushel.
This is in Krakow. But I want
here we are. Here's the street.
Oh, Levkovich. That's it. You found it.
This is it. This is. Oh.
Yeah, you found it.
And it was named after your family.
Yeah. Okay, that's it.
When did they name the street after your family?
Oh, that was in maybe 100 years, 2 years, or I don't know. A long time ago, before even my parents, I think, came from grandparents or great-grandparents. Yeah. My father has a mill of yeah. So you saw a little bit there about. This is the movie when I spoke there. That was the.
This was J.
All my children, yeah, all my children. Here is Tuvia. This is his son. This is my daughter. This is my other son. This is my whole family. Everybody came for the premiere. It was tremendous, and the most beautiful cinema in London, the West End. The most beautiful of gold. You see all those shiny things, full of gold. I spoke
and
there.
It's called the Survivor's Revenge.
Yeah, the movie is called The Survivor's Revenge. So there's the whole family and all Khrushchev guests, important guests, ambassadors, I don't know who they are. Yeah. And this is people that, this is the biggest students that were in London that they
volunteers.
Valedictorians, yeah, the best ones that they invited to greet at the movies. So this is the movies. That is, I was speaking at the movies. This is some of the people.
And J-Roots, they made the movie.
Yeah, they made the movie. They spent a lot of money on it, and the Corona came in, and it wasn't. They couldn't recover their investment, you know. But they showed the movie here. There you have the people. It was packed.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I spoke to schools in London, you know, took them to different schools, Jewish schools. There are schools that are a few thousand students there in certain schools. I spoke in all those very difficult schools. Yeah, a lot of work. And this is all volunteer, I want you to know.
It's all you've
all without one single dollar.
And that's all the trips you've ever done. It's all volunteer.
Everything without a single payment. This is my daughter came with me once to Poland. Yeah. So that's the movie. This is speaking, movies, a lot of things. We can sit here for days.
Okay, so I'm going to just ask some of the questions that that he's asked.
And I have a lot of feedbacks from those students that I went with them. Today I went to speak here at Machon Lev.
It's a very...
So two students came over. One was in Poland with me, and one was Tisha B'Av in Eisha Torah. I was talking Eisha Torah.
I know Eisha Torah. Sure.
Yeah.
It's by the Kotel, by the
Yeah. So I was talking there. By the way, the movie part that was filmed in Eretz Yisrael was filmed on the terraza
of Eisha Torah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said, what of the main memories of Krakow stands up? What memory do you have before the war?
Okay. Coming from a shtetl,
a small town,
Jaloshice. I was born there, and I was there till about the years, till I would say 8-9 years. It was a small town, very primitive. Coming to Krakow, to the big city, I was very, very happy, very enjoyable to see in the big city. You saw cars, you saw tramways, you saw beautiful buildings. Krakow is a beautiful city.
It is.
It was so impressive. And then I went to a school called Talmud Torah. And I had friends there, and it was I had friends in Zalishitsa also, but there was a more backward life there, like shtetl life, like, you know, the shtetl, the klezmers, all that. Krakow was like a big city. The big city I liked very much. You had beautiful stores, beautiful showcases, just shopping in the showcases was nice to see so many things. And I had friends, and my parents used to invite my friends for a Shabbat meal, and they reciprocate. They invited me to their house, and I became a Hasid because I liked their singing, their zmirot, their songs. And I asked, where do those songs come from? And they told me that comes from a Hasidut called Bobov.
The Bobov. But your parents weren't?
No, that's the Bobov over there.
Yeah.
So I liked those songs, and I used to sing those songs. And then I wanted to go to Bobov. I wanted to become a chassid, and I became a chassid, the only one in I was the oldest. I was the oldest in my family, the oldest child. So I went to Bobov, and I was so very, very impressed by all those ceremonies.
You saw the Rebbe?
Of course. And he was very, very, he recepted me with such a reception, with such a, he made me feel like, I don't know, very, very big. And I liked it. I was very, very, very much impressed with with his talking, with his Dvar Torah, with the singing, and with the whole ceremonies, you know. And I became a Chassid, but not for long. Then the Nazis came. I had to pay a little pail. I had to cut it because they start tearing. They start tearing and cutting the beards and making the patrols in the street. It was terrible. So it was for a short while. It was very pleasant, but I was still so young, naive, took everything so easy. Even my family history I didn't know, because I always figured, well, what's the rush? When I'll get older, I'll know. As a young boy, I'm not interested. I want to play with my boys. I want to run around, whatever, you know. And my history never came. Later, never came. At the time, I wasn't interested. I didn't know it's going to happen. What had happened? And did anybody know? Did anybody in his wildest dream ever could figure out that such a thing could happen? What had happened? Did it ever happen in the world, such a thing?
It never happened before.
Never happened such a thing. There were all kinds of persecutions. There were. I can mention you at least a dozen offhand right away. But this was to erase the Jewish nation out of the face of the earth. Yeah. And you had them already here too, in the neighborhood, on the Sinai. Marshal Rommel was already here. A little while more, he would have come here and erased the Jewish people too. So we had always little miracles to the big catastrophe, to the big calamity. We had some little miracles that,
wow,
you know.
Joseph, can I ask, what was your first recollection of seeing the Germans, the Nazis, when they came into Krakow?
The first recollection of the Germans was before they came out to Krakow, because we heard what is going on in Germany. I was a little boy. When I heard the name Hitler, I didn't really know what it was, but I had the shivers. Just a feeling. When we heard about the Germans, what they did to the Jews in Germany, first of all, you know, Western Europe was more progressive than Eastern Europe. So Poland and Lithuania and other little countries, Latvia, other little countries, they all were not in very great position. They were not. A lot of poverty was there. So people wanted to go west, go to the. So they went to Belgium, they went to Holland, they went to France, and a lot of them went to Germany. Germany was progressive at that certain time. And they let the Jews in, no problem. It was a blessing and a curse. The blessing was that they were having a good life there, they made money. The curse is that they educated their children, sent them to the universities, and intermarried, and there was about 130,000, according to the statistics, that converted to Christianity. That was the style of the times, to be accepted in society. So the curse was that they disappeared. But, you know, Hitler came, he found them. He found the children, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren.
That's true. If you were from, they went back generations.
Yeah. There was a story of about 17,000 or something Goyim, non-Jews, that they were sending them to the concentration camps or to the gas chambers, and they were screaming hell. What do you want now? What do you want from us? Where are we going? At the end, they told them, you have Jewish blood in your veins. They didn't know nothing about Jewish. Anyways, so the recollection was, we heard they started driving out, deporting the Ostjuden, the Jews of the East.
Of the East.
So we had appeals in Poland, in the shuls, that we should take in those families, that they came naked and barefoot. Nothing. As they stood, they were not allowed to take anything with them. So we took in, I remember the families that were sleeping on the floor.
In your home?
Yeah. We were putting whatever we could on the floor. Families, men, women with children. Yeah. So that was one of the things that was, as a child, something was not kosher, something was not beseder. Something is wrong.
Something is
and
wrong.
Then we had a Kristallnacht, then we had this, then we had that. And
you heard about Kristallnacht?
Yeah, sure. Don't buy by Jews, don't this. We saw the different pictures and it's papers or something. But the Polish government said, don't worry, you're in Poland. That happened in Germany, but we're in Poland. We protect our citizens. You know, they marched into Poland without even one shot.
You know, I'll tell you an interesting fact. It took more time to destroy the Warsaw Ghetto than for Poland to capitulate.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The Germans spent more time liquidating the Warsaw Ghetto than conquering the whole of Poland.
You know, I don't know. You have it on the. But anyways, I don't know. This is something that is not. This is. I'm a little bit anti the whole world, the whole belief. The uprising, the Warsaw uprising. You know what happened? They bombarded, they killed, they destroyed, and people were with the rubble mixed up. I didn't think it was a heroic act. I don't think it was a heroic act. The uprising. Why? Because they killed them. If they wouldn't have been uprising, a lot will be dying, but a lot will have survived. And so that was...
But to stand up, it's one of the very few that stood up. At least they fought back.
Okay, they fought back, so what? So they were killed.
But it gained a lot of dignity, a lot of...
One is dead, what's the dignity? You gave him a post-mortem medal? What? I'm saying if they wouldn't have upburned, a lot of them probably would have survived. And like this, they were terribly destroyed. I don't know. I have seen some acts, what happened. I heard from people. They were made out of people. The people were together with the rubble, with the bombardment.
It was
terrible. So if they wouldn't, what is the heroic act here? That they were killed. They were uprising against what? It was like a fly against an elephant. The uprising.
But to show
but look at the end of it. I mean, there were some people and Jewish people that wanted to fight back. I have experience in the camps all the years. If you did what you were told, you had a chance to survive. If anything they have, right away you were shot on the spot. Yeah, and then if somebody just tried to escape, you know what they did? We were lined up in rows, 1, 2, 3, 10 out, 10 out. They tens, every 10's out. So they took a few for one that tried to escape. They brought him back and hanged him, and every 10's was shot. So it was no heroism in going to fight them back. It was a lost case. You should. They were barbaric. They were not human to ask. We were by them less than ants, little microbes.
And Joseph, can I ask, do you remember the Germans actually coming into Krakow?
Sure.
How old were you when they came in?
12.
And you remember their troops storming?
Came in. I saw the first tank stopping. stopping, and I was with a few friends, and we were sort of hiding under a bush, like under a tree or on the bush, and that tank stopped on the road there, and somebody opened that, one of the soldiers opened that hatch, what it's called, and he stood up there, and I looked at him. I went a little, and I said something to him like, hello, welcome, something like, yeah. And then he was very friendly. And I spoke the language, and I spoke German. So he asked me, where can I get creme Nivea? Creme Nivea creme, that's the name. Nivea creme. So I told him there in the drugstore you can do it. He couldn't get out of he needed creme Nivea. And then I told him where, and he said, Dankeschön, thank you very much. So like, and then the first few weeks was like quiet. People running away, went to Lemberg, to Lvov, to the Russian area there, and people are afraid. Some people, most of the people, listen. Would anybody have in their wildest dream imagined what could happen, what did happen? We would have run over rivers and lakes and mountains, run for your life. So it was quiet, people started coming back. And then it started, then you couldn't go anywhere. And they started to harass the patrols, pushing the Jews off the sidewalks, then starting to cut the beard, pulling by the beard.
Did you actually see?
Sure.
You saw that with your eyes?
Not only did I see that, one thing I saw that I could never forget in my life. One German patrol they were with shields, they were with helmets, they were with boots, we were very like war gear. One of them took out a lighter to light cigarette, and he burned the beard of that old Jewish man, and the man was screaming, and there were few soldiers there.
You saw that with your eyes?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Burning, can you imagine? They were. And then I saw also the long coats, the capotes, these with a scissor cutting a piece of it, to humiliate, to everything, and then was also shortages of everything. We started to be hungry. There was not enough food supplied. Don't ask what. It was from all sides trouble, but all that we could survive. If not the gas chambers and the concentration camps. All the other tsuras, the clothes started to be not seder, everything was. But anyway, well, let's start with questions. Yeah.
When you were in several different camps that you went to,
yes.
How many camps all in all?
I couldn't even remember to count them. Every few weeks, every few months, a different one. And I was, you know what? I was so happy that we went from one to another one because it was so bad. I figured
another one would be better.
It will probably be better. But you know what? Everyone was worse. There was no end to bad and worse and super worse. Yeah.
And Joseph, you helped build Plasov?
What?
You helped build the camp?
I was one of the builders of Plasov camp. I was one of the builders and one of the destroyers of the Jewish cemetery. Plasov was built on a Jewish cemetery called Yerosalimska, the Jewish cemetery. And I was walking behind an earth mover that destroyed all the kvorim, all the tombs.
All the tombstones.
And all the human remains were there. So we were with shovels. I picked up the bones and everything and put them near me. There was a guy with a wheelbarrow. And I put all those bones on that woman. He and then the German told them where to dump it, you know.
Oy.
Yeah, so I was one of the destroyers of the cemetery.
But it wasn't out of you were forced to do it. It was,
Of course!
Oy,
They
yeah,
took
yeah.
us as labor, forced labor, to do the work. So so first we destroyed, leveled out the whole. You had scalps, you have all kind of remains from people. But there was such a terrible beasts, those Germans, those Nazis. They they were not satisfied by murdering the living one, but the dead ones they didn't let rest in peace. So that first we destroyed the cemetery. On that land, leveled out, built barracks. So I was one of those building the barracks. And then I was in those barracks, lived in those barracks. And then they sent me to another camp, and then to Mielec, and then from Mielec to Wieliczka, and from Wieliczka to Liszki. And then they brought us back to Plaszow. And then they sent us to Auschwitz. And from Auschwitz sent us to Amstetten, and from Aachen, unbelievable.
Did they tattoo a number on your arm?
What?
Did you ever?
I had a number, but I took it out.
You had surgery.
I had surgery. Stupid, but anyway.
And where did you have the surgery?
In Colombia. My wife was with me. She actually said, what did, I said, it bothers me. Everybody asks me, you know, in summer when you go in short sleeve, people didn't know, you know, and everybody asks. So
you can still see the, you can still see the, yeah.
Yeah. So I took it out. I told it cost me money to take it out.
Wow.
And now I'm sorry that I did it. I should have left it. But anyways, you're young, you have, you know, what do I need it for? I was ashamed of it.
So
I should have been...
When you close your eyes,
Yes.
what picture do you see of Plaszow? Or what picture?
What I saw there
If you close your eyes, what picture would you see?
in Plaszow, beating, I don't know how to say it in English, to make the dogs jump on you and scratch your face. I had here on this sound. You could. There is still a simon here from a dog.
Still a sign.
But it's so. Listen, it's 80 years later. There is still here. You won't be able to see anything unless you.
No, it's. I think we can see.
What? You won't be able to see.
Was that from the?
From the dog bite. Do you see here a little line?
You do see a little line. You do.
This is still from the bite of the dog. It was a lot more. You see that white little line here?
You can see it, yeah.
You can see it on top.
Wow.
There's still left something.
You can see there's
that was the whole to protect my face. So I put this on, and the Ammon gets dogs, two big Daniels, the black and white. No, what they have a name? I forgot the name. So beating, the dogs running on you, shooting, hanging, starvation, lice, all kind. Not any hygienic. You had to go somewhere a little to relieve yourself. You didn't have any paper. You didn't have any. I was talking here in Herzliya to the IDC, the university.
International. It's the.
So a lady asked me if I had if we had toothbrush. If I have a toothbrush, I said no. No paste, no toothbrush. I said no. Okay. And then another lady, a girl actually, there are students there. If he had toilet papers. I said no. So she asked me, so what did you do? I said, I leave it to you to figure it out.
Sure. No,
People
they can't
cannot
imagine. They can't even imagine.
That's why surviving is only a miracle, a big miracle. Every day people fell, never gave up, never got up. Every day people were shot. Every day people were hanged. Every day people were beaten up. Every day people got sick and died from sickness. There was no help. There were no pills, no remedies, no antibiotics, no whatever. So that's what we saw. And that least little piece of bread was like gold, like diamond, like you cannot afford eating it when you will just take a little just you keep it for. We got it that night, late at night when we came back from work. Late at night, 11, 12 o'clock, midnight. So we got a little bit of black coffee, not coffee, it's chicory, little. So I asked the guy that had that ladle. I said, "Give me from the bottom for the sediment, you know." So he gave me with a ladle over my head.
Hey.
Yeah. Anyways, hunger, sickness. People got sick and never got just. Problems. Now we didn't know whether we were people, and we didn't know what will happen tomorrow. In the morning, we didn't know we will come back at night to the barracks. We didn't know if we will come back at night to the barracks. And at night, we came to the barracks after working a hard day. We should be so happy that we could go and rest. We could not sleep. The lice were biting us and eating us alive. They creep under your skin. A whole night I was on 2 fingers, 2 nails, killing lice a whole night instead of sleeping. So we prayed already should be morning. And the day they didn't bother us when we were.
At night.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to tell it's impossible it's impossible for normal people to say phantom, but
even to fantasize, even to
not fantasize, no.
Imagine, or
yeah.
to
How do you say it in English? I forgot the name. The phantom something. My phantom something. Yeah, that's a word. Yeah. Not
fantasy. It's like you can't even imagine that.
No.
And can I just ask you, your brothers?
What?
When did you realize that your brothers hadn't survived and your parents hadn't survived?
During the whole wartime, in all the camps that I were always dreaming that one day, if I survive. First of all, I did not believe that I'll be able to make it, to survive it, because people were falling like the flies. And all the war, I was dreaming, one day we'll come back home and we'll be together, the family together. They were dead already from the beginning of the war. After the war, we found out, but during the war,
you didn't know during the war.
nothing. They sent me here, my father there, my mother selected some other place. We didn't know what, when, where, we didn't know. We had no information during the war. I dreamt, I cholem, you know, I dreamed one day I'll come back home, will be like it used to be. Yeah.
Wait, now can I just ask, it's a horrible name, but Amon Goth, did you ever see him?
If I was Syrian, he almost shot me. He was about to shoot me. It's a story, it's a longer story, but the story started like this. In the concentration camp in Plaszow, there was the Jewish police, you know, Ordnungsdienst, over there. The head of the Ordnungsdienst was Lewkowicz. the commandant. Since I was so hungry and couldn't get anything, I was hungry. So I decided I'll talk to Lewkowicz, and I said, your boots are so dirty, I'll come and shine your boots. I'll polish them. Why did I say that? Because they got more than we, the Jewish police. So he will give me something, a little bone, a little bread, a little whatever, a little soup, whatever was go. So I went to him and I said, I'll shine your boots. They'll shine like the sun. They'll polish them. So he said, come early in the morning before the siren. So I came to him a few times, like twice a week. I didn't know what a week is. Every few days I went to him and I shined his boots, and he always gave me something. That was gewaldig. That was unbelievable. Even a little whatever. One day they put me up. The Germans needed iron for the war machine. So there was around the cemetery in Krakow where the Plaszow was built, there was a Beis HaChaim, I told you, a cemetery. Yeah. It was surrounded with big, heavy iron fences. And the heavy iron fences had in the middle a block like this wide, this way, the square. And those blocks of bricks, they held the fences. And every few meters there was such a column. Since I was a little boy, they put me on the column top of there with a ladder and gave me a pick to take those bricks apart. I should not break a brick. I should pick them out and turn it into their in their hole, the whole bricks. A man was downstairs, so I should throw down. So okay, and he piled it up. One day, Amon Goeth passes by with Lewkowicz, always together, the two guys. And he stops. And when he passes by, you should know, even from far, you started shivering. You were not yourself anymore. So I throw down that brick, and the man down there didn't catch the brick. And he was on the road, and that was a little grass here on the. So I said, "Come." He take out his revolver, because he didn't pick.
He killed him.
Killed him. Killed him. Well, every time. Then he comes close to me, and he said, "Throw down the brick to me." I pick it up, I pick the brick up, the folder, and I slowly throw it to him. He didn't pick it up either. He asked me to come down. And come down, it was high. It was not, they had to come down my hands, my knees were bloody when I had to come down on those bricks. They're sharp, you know. And he takes out his gun, and I see that I say, Shema Yisrael, I'm finished. And then I don't know what happened. I woke up in a hospital in the Revier, and I look at myself. I'm fully cut. My whole body is cut. Cut the skin, and the raw, I see the bloody everything, and it hurts me in the back, it hurts me in the front, all bandages. I don't know what it is. A total block in my mind. I don't know what happened. When I felt a little better, they released me from the Riviera, from the hospital. And when I felt a little better, I went to Lewkowicz in the morning to shine his boots, to give me something to eat. And as I come in, he said, "Oh, you're alive, huh?" I said, "Yes, I'm alive." "Do you know why you're alive?" I look at him. I don't know what you want. I don't know. "Do you remember that he asked you to come down from the pole up there. It started something to... Do you remember he took his gun and he wanted to shoot you? And I started to beat you up, and you fainted, and you fell on your floor on the road there. And I told him, save your bullet, he's dead.
Wow.
So that's why he told me that I'm alive. He saved my life. And God, and Amon Gert, at the end, when the flasher finished, he shot him.
He shot him?
Shot Lewkowicz, because he knew too much. Anyways, and I had the big merit to catch Amon Gert after the war.
How did you catch him?
I was searching for months and months and months. I caught him. He was wandering around. He was hiding here, hiding there, hiding everywhere. I went to his family, I went to his friends, I went to his enemies. They gave me leads, you know. I was working for the CID, Central Intelligence Detachment, American secret agent.
How did you get the job to work for them?
Okay. I became a policeman in a DP camp.
No, it's
I'll show you, I have the pictures here. Anyway, and as a policeman, I approached the American occupying army. You know, Germany was occupied by the Americans. And I said that I have a few on my list that I would like to find, and I want to have the authority to do it. And I got the authority to do it. Yeah, documentation. And I started, and they gave me a jeep and a motorcycle first, and a jeep, and I started traveling around looking for them, and I got 6 of them. And Amon Gert was one of them.
6 of the Nazis.
Julius Ludolf and Gans and I forgot already their names, but and I brought them to justice, and I saw them sitting on the bench and with the number. And I played. We could sit the whole night.
But how did you find Amon Gert?
The end of him, I found them in a prisoner of war camp from not SS but Wehrmacht, regular German soldiers. He wanted to play the role of a regular German soldier, to be among there were about 20,000 of them in Dachau, and I found them there lying on the floor. I first went to all the officers to see if they have all their soldiers, if there's no strangers there. It took a few weeks until one officer told me, after weeks and weeks, everybody said, I spoke to this general, to this colonel. He said, all my people are here, all people. But one told me there was somebody that we don't know him. And I went there to see who this is. My blood was boiling, and I could have shot him off the spot.
This was in Dachau?
That was in Dachau. Amon Gert. And I beat him, and I kicked him, and I punched him.
Unknown caller.
And I spit in their face. And I called them all the dirty names he called us. Just 1 minute.
You saw him. You recognized him straight away.
Right. But he didn't look like he looked before. He was big, riding on a horse, riding on a... I'll show you how he looked when I caught him.
Do you have the original picture of...
Yeah, the American officer took it. I stay in the back. I had... You can see my helmet there. I had a weight. That is how I was... That's how I was dressed.
Is this you?
That's me. But I stayed on the back in the dark. You will hardly notice. The helmet you could see, the white helmet, yeah?
Yeah. And this is...
That is the dog.
This is Amon God.
Yeah. When I caught him.
And you were the one that caught him?
I caught him, I brought him to justice, I took him right away to a exclusive cell to solitary and confinement, sat them down there, closed them a little cell like not even as big as the stable.
And did you tell him who you were?
Of course. Not only that, I kicked him, I spit him, I called him dirty names that he called us. And all the names. I could have killed him. Look at how he's dressed. The pants are short, the sleeve was till here. He's big, he was very big. But he wasn't as big anymore. He was already skinny here.
And Yad Vashem went to this photo?
Yeah, I told them about it. They wanted... I gave them already one from Schindler. Schindler gave me a portrait because he didn't have anything else, so he gave me a portrait for myself. Yeah, that is me in uniform. Yeah. And here...
And what year was this? Was this straight after the war?
After the war, 46, I think. And here I have all the 4 Allied forces. The Americans, the British, the French and the Russians, and I am here at the end. You could see me here. The arrow showed me. I was at this conference there after the war. Yeah, this is all the Allied. Anyways, it's a lot to talk.
And Oskar Schindler, you knew
Oskar
as well?
Schindler came, he was poor, he was destroyed, everybody left him, here, see, this is the picture that I found. Somebody had my father's picture, this guy. He didn't know who the soldier was. The son of, he did not survive, they both didn't survive. But this guy, his son, knew his father, the son survived, but he didn't know who this was. And by chance, somebody said, I know that his son was survived in Argentina, and he contacted me, and ganze meistens.
And they gave you the photo?
Yeah, gave me, I had to send packages.
I'm going to take it.
Yeah. And this is how I had my chavre sitting there, my criminals.
And where were they? Where was the court?
In Dachau. In Dachau. The big generals and the big ministers, they were in Nuremberg, you know. But the Nazis was in Dachau.
And they were executed?
What?
They were executed?
Sure.
And you watched...
All of them.
You watched the execution?
No, I didn't want it. Well, I went to court every day, and I identified them, all of them. I had a few here.
And this was in Dachau?
Dachau, yeah.
And this is the original photograph?
The original. And here is the whole court. Here you have the whole court, the whole military court.
These are the
military court in Dachau. And here I brought witnesses. It's,
witnesses on the trial in Munich. This one,
Munich, in Munich, that's right.
Well, Dachau is part of Munich.
Yeah. And here, this is the Governor General of Germany. He was the head of, like the President of Germany, the occupying power, the American occupier. This is General Matthew Clark, a 4-star general. He was the occupier. I met him. He was the head of the occupying powers in Germany, on the American zone, of course, because that was divided into 4. So, yeah, there are a lot of things here, a lot of things. A lot of stories.
And Josef, can I just ask, when did you first meet Oskar Schindler?
Oskar Schindler came to me, he heard that I am a Nazi hunter, and he came to me to Bad Ischl. Bad Ischl was in Austria, and there was a DP camp, displaced person. The United Nations gave us a place because we didn't have homes. Everything was destroyed. We didn't have where to go, so the United Nations took a hotel and put us up there, like 400 people. Oh, this was
just take him.
So I was the second in command there in the camp, in the displaced. It's a hotel. They fed us, and
Oscar Schindler, he heard that you were there?
He heard that I was a Nazi hunter and that I caught Amon Goeth, and he was afraid that I will probably look for him because he was the head of a concentration camp, so of a camp, a labor camp, forced labor camp. So he came to me, and he came to tell me who he was. I told him, Oscar, don't tell me who you are. I know who you are. Plaszow was across your factory, the Deutsche Emaillenfabrik, and he told me things that I did never know. Anyways, I said, don't worry. You are not a criminal. Why are you not a criminal? I was talking. He couldn't talk. You didn't beat up your people. You didn't shot a single one. You didn't hang anybody. You're not a war criminal. You had people there working for you. They survived. If something, you should be honored for that. He was in seventh heaven. Can you maybe arrange me for a bottle of schnapps, like the liquor? Shikar Zago, you know. He wanted to, and it was hard after the war to find something, but I said, Lasker, I will get it to you. And he came back a day or two, and I found a bottle for him, a bottle of Kummerliquor. And he kissed me, and he didn't have anything to give me, so he had a portrait of his. I have a copy from it, but I don't know where to find it. It's not a monkey, huh? Anyways, so he signed it, Mein Leben, in German. You speak German? Yeah.
I understand from Yiddish.
Yeah. Mein lieben, teuren Freund Josef Levkovich, freundliche Erinnerung, ganz signed, and the date was June 46. I have a copy somewhere. The original, they didn't want to help me. They wanted Yad Vashem wanted it.
And you gave the original to Yad Vashem?
Yeah. And they gave me a copy. They made a copy. They gave me the copy. Oh, it doesn't matter. They wanted to have. Yeah, he was so thankful that I invited him for a meal there, and he ate with us for a meal, and I told everybody who he was. Nobody really, and all the people that he saved. When the Americans occupied Austria and Germany, they all ran away. Everybody went to their homes. Everybody thought they will, from Czechoslovakia, from Hungary, from everywhere. The people, wherever they were from, everybody ran home to hope to find their families. So he was left alone. He went to his wife. His wife doesn't want to let him in. He was a very big humanizer. A womanizer, yeah. A lump, you know. He was no tzaddik, I want you to tell you. I told him that you're not such a big hero either. You took away all their money, you took away everything. I said, but that is nothing. If you wouldn't have taken away the Nazis, the SS would have taken away. So that does make a difference. Life. This doesn't make you a criminal. That took away all what they had. This is nothing. This doesn't make you a criminal. You didn't hurt your people. You didn't beat up your people. You gave them more food than the others gave. What did he make? You know what he made in the factory? It was called an enamel factory, Deutsche Emaillenfabrik. He made those dishes that the soldiers carry on their belt. Manashkes was called. From that they eat, from that they drink. Every soldier had such a, this is what he made for the soldiers. And he was no tzaddik, you know. He was friends with the SS. I saw him every day coming in with Amonget. They were the best friends. They were shikering together.
Drinking together.
Yeah, everything with women together, and every day. Many other SS commandants from other camps, they came to, they were chaverim, they were friends. But at least, but Schindler told me a story that is not very known. When he made the factory, when the Germans ordered him to make that factory, and he arranged everything, he needed workers. So they, at the time when he was ready to start working, he didn't have workers. So there were 3 or 4 of them. That's what Schindler told me. 3 or 4 of those SS, Gestapos or whatever. And he said, I have to have workers. We don't have now anyone. That transferred to that transferred to them. Then one of the SS said, I have workers for you. I have about 1,400 people. Where were they? That's what I didn't know. They took a train of people. They didn't have where to put them. The old gas chambers were full. Auschwitz was full. Belzec was full. Majdanek was full. All those, Treblinki was off. They took that train and put it somewhere in a village on a side track in winter on sub-zero temperature, that they should freeze to death. And that moment when they left that train there, and he needed the workers, they went and took all those people and gave it to him by miracle. Those people was from a heaven, Basher, that they should live. So they took those people out of dead and gave it to him to work. Yeah, it was just a miraculous thing for those people. And all of the people survived. He had about 1,400 people, all of them survived. If they were sick, he gave them medication. So he was not a criminal. They honored him later, you know, in Israel and whatever.
With Schindler's List, they made the Spielberg made the film Schindler's List. Yeah,
but you see, he was what he was. But the truth of the matter is, the people that worked for him survived under those circumstances where everybody died, and so many died, and all these people survived.
Did you keep contact with him after the war?
No.
And how was your feeling when you heard about Schindler's List, that it became world known? And
this is later, much later.
How did you feel knowing that you knew him?
I think it's a nice thing to show, but it's a movie, you know. You see the Amonget shooting at the woman with all the baby survived, you know. And the woman he killed, that was a toy for him, to kill people. That was, he had a Jewish girl, the Helen. He beat her up every day, and she works for him. She worked for him, in the house. You were at the house. You saw that how now they fixed it up and they sold it for a lot of money. Yeah, he was, you know. He was a German. He was from Slovakia, actually.
But it must be very rewarding knowing that you that you in a way saved him. Then it's
not
because
him.
of you.
The others that I caught, the other Nazis, Julius Ludolf, the head of Melk, and then the guns from Ebensee. When I caught those guys, I made fun of them mostly, you know.
And you told them you were a survivor.
A young boy, yeah. I looked into the pocket of Julius Ludolf, the commandant, SS commandant from Melk, a concentration camp. So I found a armband with a swastika. So I said, put it on. This was the big, when you saw him from far, you start shivering. I said, put it on. No. Put it on. It was, before he wore it as honor. Now he was ashamed to put it on. I put it on. And when he put it on, I gave him a full set over the hand. And then I said to him, say hi Hitler. Say hi Hitler, I remember how you did it then. So he picks up the hand, and as he picks up, I made fun of them. I brought them to court, and I testified in court. Brought witnesses, and
This is unbelievable. You know, I've known this, but to hear it firsthand from you, I just want to thank you so much. This is
You had everything for him?
No, not yet. But to hear you speak about capturing these Nazi criminals and you
all the papers were writing then in Germany. I have somewhere some cutouts, but go find them.
But you did it nearly single-handedly. What gave you the strength to do it? It's incredible.
I had the koyach. I did. I still doing. I still go with hundreds and hundreds of students and talk to them and bring them back to be Jewish. To bring them, they're totally assimilated. Americans, British, Canadian.
Joseph, you are a hero, and I'm so grateful that I have this connection with you.
You know what we are? A human being is a zero, not a hero. We are nothing. You see, my son, healthy, famous, world famous. You know, the Wall Street Journal came out and said, Wall Street lost a brilliant mind. Tobias Levkovich died today. The New York Times came out with an article and said, today is a sad day. Tobias Levkovich died. In all the papers, all the televisions, it's not the time, I have all the pictures, CNN, CNBC, CBC, he is interviewed, and his Yiddishkeit was always, in the back of his interview is always the Shas, the Talmud.
The Talmud.
And the Chamisha Torah. Chanukah put a big menorah in the back. You know how many hundreds of millions of people watch those shows. CNBC, CNN. I went with him. He took me a few times to those shows. You should see the honor when he came in. And all those actors that you see them on TV I saw they all embraced me. I even got a hat from CNN and from there. But he was so honored over the world. He was very big in finance. He was a tremendous, brilliant mind, brilliant man. Yeah, with the family.
Well, Josie, you should just have a Chaim Arukim, and you must be comforted. And I want to thank you so much, because it is just... Here we are sitting in front of a real hero, an incredible hero of Am Yisrael, and what you've achieved and done, I'm in awe. And you should just have only good health, and you should have nachas from your family.
As long as Rabbi Shalom gave me koyach, I'll still try to talk to Jewish youth, not to lose them because we lost millions and we cannot afford losing more. We have to save the Jewish youth, that they should become Jews, and they should marry Jews, and they should build Jewish families. We need Jews because we are American Jewry is almost lost. It started with the reform and with all kind of things, and they mixed out with the non-Jews, and they have so many. We had one religion in the past. Now so many different. It's a problem. It's a very big problem. I was ready to leave. Did you have the words?
Are they singing Josef?
Okay.
We're going to hear it again.
Again. Now I'll tell you what they sing. Rabbi Yosef, your mommy saved my life. Rabbi Yosef. Your mommy saved my life.
You saved my life. Wow.
This is already doctors, degrees, masters.
Wow.
They are not children anymore. They're already grown up. They are graduated from MIT, Yale, different universities. Yeah, this is no children. This is already.
And when was this done?
In Auschwitz.
How long ago?
In 2019.
Wow. And they made the song for you, and they would play this on the bus.
Here I have it. And I in Krakow, here I have it. January. Just a minute.
Can we play it again?
Look, when is it? January. Here you have it written exactly where it was and when it was.
2020.
Yeah.
This is just before.
Already, I think I got there the. Your mommy saved my life. Rabbi Yosef, your mommy saved my life. Talk to them, I talked to them, I wake them up, they were sleeping.
Wow.
So they made a song, Mommy saved my life, and this is already not children, this is already, yeah.
Joseph, I cannot thank you enough. I think we've done all the questions. And
if you have anyone,
for hours, we could
anyone there more to finish it, and that was it.
But we could speak more for hours and hours and
days, months,
days and days and days.
Yeah.
Just the last question. And I think this is a very hard question. How are you coping with your son passing away? It must be so difficult. That you still have your emunah, you still have your faith. Because it's not easy for a parent. Lo aleinu, it's.
That's not a Seder HaOlam.
It's not the way of the world.
The Seder HaOlam is that children bury parents, not the other. What can I do? Can't do anything. Can't bring him back. Every day I miss him. Every day I'm suffering, because every day I had this call and I saw him here live.
Sure.
On that apple of the phone. We talk and we see each other. What can I tell you? It is not easy, but I can't kill myself.
But Joseph, you still have your faith in Hashem?
Then nothing happened by itself. This is all. Today I spoke. You know what I said? First of all, I described him. I talk about him, what he was, and I said there are two things. You don't have to.
No, it's very important.
One thing I said, we know that the Rabbeinu Shel Olam
God
gives out the Psak Din in Rosh Hashanah. Milachayim, Milamuves,
who will live and who will not live in Rosh
So the
Hashanah.
Rabbeinu Shalom gave out the psak that he will come to heaven and Tuf Shein Pei Aleph. He could have killed him a day after Rosh Hashanah, or 2 days, or a week, or a month.
Died, yeah.
So he gave him a whole year. I didn't start to speak like this. I started different. My son told me, Daddy, I am having the highest salary of the corporation. There's no higher of the salary that I get. The CEO and the CFO, whatever, this is the highest salary. And I'll tell you a secret. From the highest salary, I can't make a living. I need a lot. Stukes, I need a lot. Where do I make a living? From my bonuses. My bonuses are big. Because he brings in a few $100 million a year to the corporation with his speeches, with his writing. You know that Wall Street made a index, the Levkovich index?
Is it called the Levkovich?
The Levkovich index. It will be forever now. Like all the other indexes. Dow Jones, Standard & Poor's, Nasdaq, so many different other.
Now there's the Levkovich.
Levkovich index now. So he said, so I started the speech like this. My son told me he has the highest salary, but he couldn't make a living for it. The bonuses, that's where he got money, and that's why he could give millions of dollars at Stoker. He gave millions of dollars
For charity.
Yeah. So the Rabbeinu Shalom gave him also a bonus. Because the Psaktin came out in Rosh Hashanah Pei Aleph that he is coming up to heaven. He could have brought him up a week after Rosh Hashanah, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. He gave him the whole year a bonus till a few days before Rosh Hashanah when he went to Slichas. So he had a bonus to Rabbeinu Shalom. We look back a year, a whole full year. And the other thing, when was he taken away his life? When he went to Shul to say Slichas. When he went to Ladvar Mitzvah.
He went to pray early in the morning.
Two great companies that accompanied him to Olam Haba. One is on the derech to do my mitzvah, to daven, to say Slichas. And the other one, the bonus that I was showing him a whole year. Two very important things.
There are no words.
So
it's very profound what you've just said. It's very, very emotional, and it's very true.
So that's what I saw. Among other things, there isn't a country in the world that the biggest business people in the world don't know his name.
But he was a modest.
Tobias Levkovich.
But your son was very modest. He was a very modest.
Any Joe Blow came to him to talk, he will listen until he finish, and he will never say. And his mind was spinning. He had so many on his mind every day. What he does in a day, people take weeks. And he would never say to anybody, to Joe Blow, make it short because I'm in a rush. He would listen till the end, and he will answer whatever he had to answer him. Big men or small men? I told that to Rav Usha Weiss. So he said, I thank you very much for telling me that, but I am saying many times to people when they come with a long story, I said, make it short. I learned from Tuvia, I'll never say again, make it short.
And Tuvia Ashavas is one of the great rabbis. He really is.
Gedolei Ador. In years now, a little more, another few years, he's already world name.
His mother was also surviving
just
from
passed
the
away.
camps. Just passed away.
I went to the Shiva house, just passed away a few weeks ago. He came to my Shiva and I went to his Shiva. 2 weeks later. Yeah. Anyway, so he said, I learned something from Tuya. I will never say again, to make it short. I myself, when I go on those trips, and hundreds of them come and surround me, and everybody, a lot of them very unhappy. Those youngsters are many of them are very unhappy, and they have tremendous stories. And I have learned a lot. I could be a rabbi, I could be a lawyer, I could be a psychologist, I could be whatever you want. I learned so much from them, and they want me to give them some advice. And what I know is a little human sense, that is common sense. So I answered them common sense, what to do. I tried my best. But again, I have so many that came, that surround me on those trips. And here also, when I went to it last Thursday, I went to a yeshiva to speak. And then the Rosh Yeshiva asked me, there were the place, how many books? 170 were there.
Students.
Yeah. So he asked me if I would answer questions. So I answered the questions. So, but there was maybe 7, 8, 9 questions. And then I said, last question. The last question. And yeah, then the Rosh Yeshiva said, guys, if you want a bucher, line up. So I had maybe 100 of them lining up. And everybody comes for a bucher. I said, I'm not a Rebbe. No, the Satmar Rebbe said, if you see a survivor, go to as a bucher. The other, what is it,
to get a blessing from a survivor.
What?
To get a blessing from a survivor. It's
Klosenberger Rebbe, the Klosenberger also. So they like.
Joseph, I just want to thank you, and I just want to mention something. Your son and your children and everybody who knows you, your wife and you, have instilled these values. And I think it's the zchut of your parents and of your grandparents that they instilled in you, that you've brought to the next generations. And you know,
I do what I can.
May your son's memory be for eternal blessing, and may you just only know Besorot Tovot, only good news and good things, and all of Hashem's blessings, which you so deserve. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful to you. I really am.
Okay, you're very welcome, no problem.